Not having a good hair day, Chris.
Hey, howdy ho, Lions fans. Welcome to the Detroit Lions podcast, episode 310. This is the official Detroit Lions podcast for Reddit. I am your dashing host, Chris, and with me is my good friend and co-host, Andy. Andy!
How's it going, Chris?
Good. How you doing, brother?
Pretty good. Pretty good. I want to get it out early. I'm going to get it out loud and proud. I don't care about tanking. I want wins. Go Lions.
Yeah, that's what I want to hear, Andrew. Yes, you are the man. All right, guys, just really quick, we got a $200 match out there for St. Jude. stjude.org/DLP. I'll get that out there right now. Thank you, Flounder. You are the rock and rolling machine. So we can get up to $200. We're at $594.69, $17,594.69. See it up there? All right, let's get through. We got to talk about today's game. Boy, it was a nail biter for a long time, and I know a lot of people gave up, because I might have been one of them. We'll have a little bit of roundtable conversation. We'll take your calls a whole lot more. We got a great show lined up. Are you ready to go, Sam Man?
Let's do it.
All right, a couple of quick announcements. First, check us out. Help us out on Patreon. Special thanks to Dylan from
Guam.
That's right. That's where he's from. And, of course, our very first donor, Mathis. Brian Burkheiser from iPrevail, iPrevailBand.com. I got to change the call list thing. iPrevailBand.com. And all of our guys down in the Slack. John Stafford. How about we'll talk to him. And Ash Thompson. Those are two great guys. There we go. We got a great group there, and they're hanging out in the Slack chat. You get access with as little as $1 a month on the Patreon donation. You can get access to the Slack as well. The most intelligent Lions chat on the internet. No doubt about it. All right? Got that going on. And all you do, patreon.com/Detroit Lions Podcast. Check us out on Twitter at DET Lions Podcast. DET Lions Podcast, the very best place to see Sandman.
With no pants on.
That's right. Senior Bowl style. You heard music, wasn't it? Music through the outlet in the wall of the hotel? That's how great
Yeah, I did. I think I'll repost that tweet later. But I'm laying in bed trying to sleep. I'm just hearing Miley Cyrus or something playing out of the outlet of the wall. I think the CIA is after me or something.
Subscribe on YouTube, youtube.com/Detroit Lions Podcast or youtube.com/DLP Clips. Both are available. Clips is the short show. When you don't have time, you can get little tasty nuggets of the show. And youtube.com/Detroit Lions Podcast is where all the great stuff happens. iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, wherever you find us, give us that 5-star review. We appreciate that. If you can't give us a 5-star review, then hit us up in the subreddit. You can DM us, you can email us from the website, whatever. Let's understand why you're not feeling the 5 stars. And we'll see what we can do to help you out. All right, we're going to open up the phones in just 2 minutes. Let's get this thing on a roll. All right, it's time to talk about all the fun and exciting things going on this week in Reddit. That's it. Sorry, everybody else can hear the audio, but us on all the openers today. Something got a switch got flipped. I'm sorry. All right, let's talk about all the great stuff. I want to start off the show really quick. We may cut some callers a little shorter today, not because we want to be mean or don't like you or think you guys are trouble or anything like that, but we want to keep it a little snappier, a little tighter. Some of the calls go a little rambly and long sometimes, and we like to let you guys talk, but we're going to see if we can tighten it up a little. There should be some celebration out there today, and we'll go from there. Okay. Let's see. Are you guys not hearing any sound? Okay, you can hear. Okay, you guys are good. Okay, those guys can hear. Token J, he can hear just fine. Okay, cool. All right, let's do this. We'll talk about the game. First, let's get your initial impressions, Mr. Sandman, about what we saw out there today.
I think what we saw was addition by subtraction. We literally saw it. Matt Patricia goes away, and we lose a bunch of bad habits. Now, defensively, that's not the case. The defense is still, awful and really devoid of talent.
The talent didn't change.
No, the talent did not change. But what we saw today was we saw a more normal Stafford game. We saw a 2019 Stafford. We saw a 2011, 12, 13, 14 Stafford. We saw routes going down the field. I think our average depth of target this game, I'll look it up later, is going to blow away every other game we've had this year.
Yeah,
Our average
absolutely.
depth of target was ludicrous. We didn't see run, pass. You know, some people are going to complain about runs on second down. I'm not super mad about runs on second and 10 as long as you have a plan to get out of that. And the Lions did get out of that today. But I
Indeed.
think we saw a lot of things that just addition by subtraction, man. You get rid of Patricia. All of a sudden, the team seems a little looser. I'll say right now that Stafford was the loosest he's looked all year. Like, he came out of the gate ready to play. Normally, under the Patricia regime thus far, Stafford needs a quarter to get ready. You know, we saw that a lot.
Yep.
You know, we saw a lot of boring play calling. Today was not boring. Today was actually fun and energetic. You know, honestly, this is the team that we thought we were going to need to be at the beginning of the year. We knew the defense wasn't going to be super fantastic, and we knew that we were going to have to outgun some people. And this is the first game where I think we actually saw a real outgun offense from the start to the finish.
How about the idea that the defense did? I mean, at the end, they came up huge.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they did. You know, they're the defense that we know we have. They're the talent level we know we have. There's some things we saw differently. I think it was Ash in the Slack talking about this is after the first defensive play series where they went. They played a little bit of hurry up. They did exactly what I would have done against the Lions. Right? New coach. Let's come out. Let's do tempo. Let's push it on them hard. But you got Jelani Tavai out there playing. Look. We know he's not a Hall of Famer, okay? We'll start there, okay? And work our way to wherever reality is. But it is the first game that he was actually running towards the line of scrimmage as the ball was snapped, where typically they have him standing there and waiting to move. And what happened? He made some tackles. He made some plays. He didn't look as bad as Jelani Tavai has looked for the whole rest of the season before now. Again, are we saying he's going to be a Hall of Famer? No. But maybe he can play, right? Maybe he can play okay. Maybe he can do some stuff out there. This is something that's worth watching for the rest of the season. And against a lot stiffer competition that we have coming up, it's going to be really interesting to see how he does play as just one example, right? But I think you're right about the addition by subtraction because it played across the whole team.
Yep.
Bevel giving him an opportunity to literally go out. And at first I was like, oh boy, this seems a little, I don't know what the word is. Not unprofessional, but I'm supposed to be having words because you have a microphone, but I don't have one here. But I was nervous about the whole, hey, we're just going to go have fun kind of concept. You know what I mean? You still got you got to play disciplined football. You have to do all the things. You have to execute the fundamentals. You have to get your pad level right. Sorry. But the thing you really, you can't be sloppy, right? And that's what I was worried might happen. But they did come out loose. They came out, with a passion. Matthew Stafford, you saw it. Even when he threw that interception, you saw his face in the sideline. At first, I was like, he's broken. And I was like, no, he really cares, right? Mm-hmm. And I think the fact that we pulled this out in the end the way we did is going to be super, super beneficial for the team and the players. Look, we got a rough schedule ahead, no question about it. But had they gone out there and lost today, the confidence in each other would have just been shattered, right? Nobody would have believed that they could do it because that's the one winnable game supposedly on the rest of the schedule, and they weren't going to turn a win in on that. So to see them come in and do that was really, really great. Loved to see that win come out of it. Loved to see the passion. Stafford was throwing sidearm all day. It was that gunslinger thing, right? And yep. I kind of mentioned it as we were getting ready here to start the show that that little bit of loosey-goosey gunslinger stuff is what won Brett Favre a Super Bowl. And I don't know. I like Matthew Stafford being Matthew Stafford, not being a cutout of something that they think he should be. He got to be a professional first overall consensus draft pick. One of the highest, first to 30,000, fastest to 30,000 yards, something like that. I forget what the exact number was. Yep. He did that by being Matthew Stafford, not by being something different. And I love what he brings. I love what he brings.
Yep. And, one of the things that we definitely saw today was that the aggression of the offense never really wavered. We didn't see, wasted opportunities too often on the offensive side. where it just seemed like we're going to go 3-and-out. I guess that is what it is. We'll punt it away and hope the defense can do something. We didn't see that. We saw what people have been asking for the entire time. Where's that killer instinct? When we're up by 10, when we're up by 12, when we're up by 30, who cares? Keep moving the ball.
Yep.
Keep trying to score. Scoring is the name of the game in the NFL. You have to score to win regardless. And what we saw with Patricia is that he didn't do that. He didn't like to do that. He would pull the reins back when we had a lead, and that led to, 8 games where we, gave up tons of points at the end and ended up losing.
Yep. Yeah,
this team didn't do that today, and we were behind most of the game, so you have to take that into account. But at the same time, we weren't playing for the clock, we weren't playing for anything but to score, and that's super refreshing to see.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It was wonderful. I gotta say, this is something. I don't know if they saw it or a year ago when they said it, but we're actually playing meaningful games in December right now. It's not like they meant it or like they said, but we're actually playing meaningful games in December. This is great. First game in December, we came in, we won, turned it around. I mean, it come from behind victory like that. It was the last minute and a half is the only time we led the whole game.
Yeah, that's some Packers 2019 going on.
Yeah, for real. All right, we'll take your calls. 248-782-8384, 248-782-8384. Ring us, give us the jingling if you want. And you can also use Skype if you want to just go in straight from Skype. It is Detroit Lions Podcast, all one word, Detroit Lions Podcast. I'm going to move some of these things around here really quick on the phone number just so some of the other stuff pops up. I forgot how the screen is laid out. So, all right, tackling. Yeah, Ryan, they do need to work on tackling. The defense has a whole bunch of problems. Okay, there's no question the defense is not this is not a Super Bowl bound defense, we'll put it that way. But they did fine. They did a good job, but a good enough job to win today. How are they going to be against Green Bay?
Or Tampa Bay or anybody we have left, really? Scary.
Yeah, I feel like we have a better chance against Tampa than we do against Green Bay, though. Tampa,
you're not wrong.
Tampa is very much a what's the word I'm looking for? A wild card, up and down. They're just don't have the consistency that you see from like Green Bay. And after seeing Green Bay hang so many on Chicago, and then we only put as many as we did on, that's a little bit nerve wracking for me.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see here. All right, again, we got a $200 match on St. Jude. Let me hit that really quick. We're at 17,000, almost 17,600 raised for St. Jude so far. We're going through the 18th of December. This will keep going. If you haven't, or even if you have, you want to throw a couple more bucks, we got Floundericious is going to match up to $200. So, $5, $10 bits like we heard during the podcast-a-thon, those all matter. And you get to double your money. Let's try to get this to 18 grand, boys. Let's do that. Also, I want to tell you we have an auction going on with all kinds of great Lions memorabilia and material. There's also sweet Darren McCarty signed puck that says F. Lemieux. Awesome. Sweet revenge. It's cool. Auction.DetroitLionsPodcast.com. Every single penny of that will go to St. Jude. So it's all going to a good cause. You get something really cool, and you get to help out kids that are sick. And, doing the Christmas for the kids thing. So there you go, okay? stjude.org/DLP and auction.DetroitLionsPodcast.com. All right, so let's talk about offensively. One of the biggest things I noticed was way more shotgun for Matthew Stafford. And I think that's where he belongs.
Yeah.
I just think he performs so much better from the shotgun, and it really, really does sell the pass so much more to the defense.
Yeah, and God, what year was that? 2013, 2012, when the Lions almost went exclusively pistol.
Yeah.
I feel like Stafford sees the field better when he's in shotgun or pistol. I feel like if you're gonna run an offense that Stafford should be in, you need to cater to his ability to see the field. And if you're running a bunch of 12 to 20 yard routes, that's super important. And I think Bevel knew that. But I think really what we saw was that Bevel wasn't going to handcuff the offense by making Stafford under center to sell play action. I think he realizes that play action works regardless of if you're in the shotgun or under center, but it makes it harder or makes it easier on Stafford when he's in the shotgun, and Stafford's really where we need to put all of our energy towards if we think we're going to win. 400-yard Stafford is what we've all been begging for years now.
Oh, yeah. It felt so comfortable seeing him feel comfortable, right? The offensive line out there played so well against, what did the Bears defense against the pass? 6th before this game? They did well. Big props. There was the play that Spielman called out that Ragnow did the double block up the middle on the run.
Yep, Decker had one of those too.
Yep, it just so great they played. And something we were so worried about before the first game, right? That the right side of the line was just terrifying how they were going to do. I remember talking, Khalil Mack is going to eat against these guys, and we've played well up front all year. I've got to give major props to Hank Fraley and the team on the work they've done there. Hey, caller, what's your name? How much have you had to drink?
This is Mo from the Creek, baby. What's going on?
Hey, Mo, how you doing, man?
I'm all good, man. About to have my first celebratory drink now.
Oh, good for you. Good for you.
Man, that was awesome, man. I'm looking at the game, man, and I'm like, it just seemed like it's such a renewed energy on the sideline. It was like, what the hell has been going on in that organization, in that locker room that Matt Patricia brought to the team, where before this, everybody's like, I'm just here so I won't get fined.
Yeah, prison, man. Prison locker room scenario. At the beginning of the game, they talked about how a player was talking to Michelle Tafoya, I think, on the sideline, and he basically said that there was no energy in the locker room. It was kind of dull and dead. And a bunch of that energy has come back now that that Patricia's gone, and Bevel listened to the players and brought some of that stuff back. I don't think we'll ever get the full story, but I think what we can say for certain is that this team was vastly underperforming due to Patricia and maybe the way he was running everything in the back where we can't see what's going on.
Yeah. Even when we were down, it was like, I seen that fight. Like, all right, we not out of this. Where as previous weeks, it was like, all right, can we just get this fourth quarter over?
Yep.
Can we get this second quarter over? It was a tough go, man. No, it's so true. And Bevel said all the right things this week, and it's kind of what you expected after you got the guys blinking SOS during the interviews and stuff, right? Like hostages. But this is, and I'm not again. It's a tough schedule ahead, right? But this is Celebration Sunday. We got Celebration Monday, and then we can get into Tuesday and talk about what the rest holds, and we can celebrate now and dream. But this is how Wayne Fonts got his job. He was an interim coach, and he won the first game. They lost the second game. The one they lost to, the second one was to Chicago. But let's just take this for a minute and say this was nice. Bevel took what didn't work, what absolutely didn't work, and we all know it didn't work. And he got in one game a quarter of the number of wins that Matt Patricia got in a million, right? I mean, in the season. So
sad.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I kind of wonder, how did Bevel and Patricia work together? Right? I mean, you can tell they're completely different dudes. How do you? I'll tell you from personal experience, working for somebody that you don't that you don't gel with. It's where I'm at right now, and I'm ready to. Whatever. I keep working this completely separate. Neither one knows about the other one, right? But I can tell you, I don't know how Daryl Bevel did it, because I dread every Monday that rolls up. Every Monday, and I can't wait till it's over with.
And Joey in the chat. Oh, go ahead, caller.
I think after Patricia's firing, I think it sent the message to the league saying, just because you come from the Belichick tree doesn't necessarily mean you're going to come and create this New England winning system in my team or in my city, and I think that's what Quinn and Patricia tried to do in Detroit and say, hey, we're going to make Detroit New England, when everybody else was like, nah, bro, that's not happening over here. And I think they just tried to force that.
I'll tell you,
just really say, this is New England.
here's what I think happened, and it's interesting, right? One thing people underestimate, and they shouldn't, right? If you know anything about Detroit and the people of Detroit, there's pride. There's a sense of pride, and it's like you don't mess with my city. We'll joke about how bad it is and what's not right and all that kind of stuff, but don't you come in and do that, right? And I think Quinn and Patricia came in believing all the crap about Detroit. And it just and they said, we're going to fix it. We're going to make it New England. We're going to make it something different because they're a bunch of losers with a loser culture. And that's not what it is, right? The culture's been bad. Things have been bad. There's a lot of stuff that hasn't been right with the team for a long time. But what they came in to fix, that wasn't what's wrong. Obviously, that wasn't what's wrong.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you guys, do you think Sheila taking over the reins, and do you think she's really going to create a winning system for the city?
I don't know if any owner of the Lions is going to have that big of a say. I just don't think that's, they're not a Jerry Jones type of owner. I think if we get a winning culture, it's because they hired the right people. I don't think it will be directly correlated to Sheila herself. I think if she wanted to be more active, I don't think any fans would be upset if we heard from her more often than we currently have. But I don't know if, the Fords are really that kind of owner. And most owners aren't really that in the forefront. I think it's just the fact that they've hired so many bad people in a row.
I've got an example for you. Ford Motor Company itself, when Bill Ford was in charge, right? It didn't, Jack Nasser left. They put Bill in charge. Everyone's like, the guy whose name is on the building is finally taken over. He's going to take the company to salvation, right? And no, that's not what happened. And early on, it slipped. He slipped because they tried to, I forget who it was, they tried to steal and hire as a CEO. And it gave the signal right away that Bill knew he was out of his depth and shouldn't have been there, right? And as weird as it was, everybody was, when he left, there was a sense of relief amongst the employees of the company, and it took hiring the right guy, Mullally, to come in, turn that thing around, and get that thing straight. I think it's an exact kind of parallel to the team itself. It's all about who they're going to hire and bringing in the right people to do the right thing. And the other part of it is, and I'll say this to the end, as bad as the Quinn and Patricia experiment turned out, those were the consensus right guys to hire at the time by everybody who knew anything about football. So you can hire great people, and they aren't the right people for the job. And that's something else to think about, right? I mean, maybe Hugh Jackson is a great coach, and he's the guy that could turn the Lions around. I'm not saying that, okay? So people keep it calm in the chat, right? But you know what I'm saying?
Somebody clip that.
You know what I'm saying? Like some guy that didn't have. We've got people that were super successful elsewhere that just tanked this thing, right? There's something else. There's something else that's needed here, and so it's the right fit for the right place. And I don't know. I hope Sheila can do it. I sure hope she can do it, because this would be great. All right.
I sort of get that queasiness of whoever comes in. It's like, please have a winning season, because I don't want to go through the whole cycle again of, this first season under this coach is crappy, so give him a chance, and we got to wait another 3-4 years. I just don't want to go through that cycle.
Yeah, for sure. All right, hey Mo, I'm going to let you go. The phone's been banging off the hook here. I'm going to grab some other calls and make some other points.
Thanks, Mo.
Yes, sir.
All right, buddy.
With you guys.
Yeah, you too. Thanks for calling, brother. All right, we'll see you.
No doubt.
All right. Hey, I want to really hit. I saw that they're using Korn Ferry, which is an executive search firm, to help find. And I got to tell you, maybe in business, that's the right move. I just don't know that they're going to be able to. If Korn Ferry is tuned to find NFL talent, I just don't know that this is the right place to look for a GM.
And I was thinking about this earlier. What if they're not looking for a GM with Korn Ferry? What if they're looking for a football president of operations?
That's right, VP of operations of football operations. That would be
football
something.
Operations.
Yep. Just somehow missed a call. There's something funky when I answer. Like I lose 1 out of every 8 calls or something. I don't know why. I picked 8.
Joey had a good comment in the comments area here. He said Matt Patricia wasn't running the offense, but you can tell he had his fingers all over the offense, and I 100% agree. And this is one of those times where we've talked tons about who is doing what. Right? Is Caldwell in charge of why Jim Bob is doing whatever Jim Bob's doing? Is Patricia in charge of what Bevel's doing? How much is this? How much is that? I think that this is the only opportunity we might have to ever actually see this work out. And I can say that from this one game, and we'll have to see for the rest of the season, but it sure does look like Matt Patricia was forcing the run game, that he was forcing time management, that he was forcing a lot of things that really kill a tempo offense, which is kind of what this offense was semi-built to be. And we got to see it unhandcuffed today, possibly.
Yeah, there was 7-layer dip all over it. Patricia's fingers. Yeah. All right, hey caller, what's your name? How much have you had to drink so far?
Hey, it's Loretta Martin, and had about 2 tall boys already.
All right, Loretto.
All right.
How you doing, man? Hey, really quick, Loretto, because it's you and you do this all the time, I gotta mention Nicholas in the chat. He said Staff looked really unhappy and over. He was over it in Detroit up until that come from behind win. And I would point to this and look and say, this may be a real turning point. We won't know. We probably won't hear the story, but the talk and the thinking up to now was that he was done. Right? He was done, and Kelly was gonna, no. But this is the kind of thing that puts a spark in a guy. You know what I mean? That says, what, we can maybe that little taste, right? We could do this, right? I don't know. That was good. And sorry, another one, Loretto. Sorry, Brett Kuzno. How you doing, brother? He'll always believe players played to get Matt Patricia fired, and you know what? That's what happens when you're that kind of leader. Absolutely right. All right. Loretto, now I can concentrate and give you the time you deserve. How you doing, brother?
Great, sir. I definitely like the way Matthew Stafford looked. He definitely looked happy. The way when he threw that sidearm, you saw him look up to the sky and say some vulgar, whatever he said at the sky, because he knew as soon as he let it go, and I was so unhappy, and my heart just sank. But he came out on the other end, and I'm so happy for him.
Yeah.
Short memory Stafford.
Yep. And here's something that people probably ought to know, and I gotta thank Wisco for this. He's going in the Slack. We only allowed 7 second half points, even with the interception. And if you look at the third quarter defense the Lions have had this season, that's completely 180 degrees from where they're at. And then he also brings up a good one. Special teams were not on point today. Was special teams where Matt Patricia was spending his time? Is Braden Coombs fool's gold? This and more next Tuesday.
And I definitely believe that that initial report that said Matt Patricia had these guys so wound up so tightly, to make them so disciplined. It's like, just relax and let it happen. And he got them so wound up. And I understand the way that Matt Patricia came in here and he's like, I'm going to change this. But he tried to force it too hard. And you saw how the way players were wound up. And it only took till the fourth quarter, and it was just a tank because they were so wound up. They just broke every game. Yeah.
I'll tell you, and I'm sure this was part of the equation, but you know how you loosen up when you're wound up tight like that? You head on over to cbd.detroitlionspodcast.com. That's what you do. Get yourself anxiety, sleeplessness, insomnia, pain, all that stuff. You're wound too tight, you get yourself some CBD, and it'll help you chill. The chill line, this is I do this now because this is good, because there's 2 types of people that take CBD. People that want to feel something, something, and then people that don't want to feel anything, right? If you want to feel something like if you want to feel the effects more beyond just the pain relief and anxiety relief and all that. The chill line with the Delta 8 is the stuff. That Delta 8 has some magic in it. Legal in all 50 states, I will tell you that. There you go. And then the everything that's the non-chill, it'll do the same kind of stuff as far as the anxiety and all, and the sleeplessness, insomnia, and all, and the pain. It all works. The cream is awesome. There's nothing for you cream. So if you're going to drive that high-low at work today, don't do the chill line. Saturday afternoon, you're gonna watch some college ball. Grab yourself some chill gummies and have a good time. There you go. All right, cbd.detroitlionspodcast.com. Get all your needs: pain, insomnia, and anxiety. Everything that's caused by the Lions. Cure it right there. All right. Sorry, Loretto. You just gave me a real in.
How did you slide that so well into there? I don't understand that transition.
He's a pro.
That you just had.
Well, it's all about, like, that's the difference between me and Patricia. He just tries to ram it in. I'm all about sliding it in, right?
Sliding it in, huh?
One thing about Tavai, like the way they use him, and I've been trying to tell people this from the get-go, like the way Matt Patricia could not develop talent, and it doesn't matter who you draft. You could have drafted Chase Young and still wanted to put him in positions to succeed. And you saw that today, how people were in better positions to succeed with their talents. And that's what I'd like to see out of everything, because like I said, I still think Bob Quinn was a good drafter. It's just the coaching was so poor in transition to the NFL, and the scheme wasn't allowing these players to succeed on the field. And today, I believe we saw just a little hint of that. We'll see if it continues.
Go ahead, Sam. Sorry, I was looking in the chat. And
yeah, it's I feel like they were so tied together, Bob Quinn and Matt Patricia, that Bob Quinn was drafting guys that he thought would work for Matt Patricia's defense. Matt Patricia wasn't developing those guys. He was so stuck in the mud with his scheme and how he wanted this team to look that he wouldn't allow the talent to escape, the Iron Dome of Matt Patricia. And I think we saw a lot of that today on offense, 100%. And I think that was semi to be expected, because Bevel was running the offense for the most part and had the plays already, and just kind of needed to change what was called and how it was called. And I think on defense today, the team seemingly got better as the game went on, which was kind of a weird thing to do. I'll rewatch it again later, but the defense looked really bad early and then started picking it up a little bit late. And I think some of that is that Undlin, and Bevel allowed some guys to do what they wanted to do a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they felt a little bit looser in practice. Maybe, they realized that, hey, we have nothing left to lose. Might as well go out there and just do what we do. And I'm excited to see what the defense is going to look like next week and the week after that. I don't expect anything too crazy, but no, it's exciting.
Couple of quotes coming in here. Daryl Bevel, my emotions right now, I can't even think straight. Good on him, man. Well deserved. That's so great for him to have that dream for so long and get a chance, even though he knows it's interim and it's an audition. To be able to do that and have that win, good on him. Let's see, and he is now the Lions' winningest all-time coach by percentage, so he's doing well there. And then Stafford gave Bevel the game ball in the locker room after the game. That's
hell yeah,
class act. What a good dude he is, man. I need people like Stafford in my life, rich and giving.
Yeah.
All right, hey Loretto, I'm gonna bounce and we're gonna go back to the phones, man. They've been hitting us hard. Okay, thanks so much for calling, brother, and
thanks for calling.
All the super chats and everything, dude. You're awesome.
Yep, thank you.
All right, man.
No problem.
All right, let's grab another one here, see if it worked. Yeah. Hey, caller. How much you had to drink? And what's your name?
What up, man? This is Q.
Hey,
what up,
Q.
Sam,
Hey,
man?
Q.
What up, Chris?
How you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing great. The emotional roller coaster is just, I feel great right now, because no matter what, I want to win.
Yeah.
I don't care about drafts and all that. Like, we'll get to that in the off season. I just want to win.
Yep.
Yeah.
Man.
I just got just got a quote from Daryl Bevel. Hey, you know what? This isn't that hard. All right, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt, but I couldn't let that one.
I just got, I call in when we suck, so I just got to call in when we win too.
Yeah.
But I was happy with it. I mean, I felt, because I was looking at all that we did offense. I mean, defense, of course. Like it's like everybody has injuries, but not every team is built like our team, where you have these specific pieces that if they're not there, things just unravel, like a Trey Flowers or
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I was happy with it. I thought it was over. Aquara, who maybe he could sneak in as a fourth alternate in the Pro Bowl or something. That's a strip sack.
Well, you had you had Sandman asking on Twitter which one of these guys are starters, right? You got Everson Griffin, you got Aquara, you got two NFL starters right there.
And I'll tell you what,
almost blew it when he jumped outside.
He did. but he made a great, compelling argument that he wasn't offsides, that he was drawn outside. It was great watching him.
I'm like, well, maybe it wasn't.
Okwara, I would love to talk about Okwara because he is the most active pass rusher we've had probably since Kyle Vanden Bosch, which is a crazy thing to say. He just outworks the dude across from him. Do I think he's like physically gifted and is just straight up better than the guy across from him? No. But he gets it done with hard work. And a guy like that is so invaluable on a team. I really hope that they find a way to bring him back next year.
Yep.
He should be a top priority, top 2-3.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
it will be like when we let Cliff Averill go.
Oh,
Yep,
dude, why you do that to me? All right, a couple things first, Dan. I will get to your super chat in 1 second. Okwara not getting the game ball today, that probably hurt a little bit, but you got to defer to Bevel, right? Because he did so well. But Okwara definitely deserves a lot of love. He the Vanden Bosch comparison is pretty funny. No one had to sleep in his front yard to get him to come to the team, though, so that was all right. He had those crazy red contact lenses. No, Okwara is looking good. And look, if there's anything genetic involved, we got his little brother too, and that'd be great to see him kind of come up. And he just hasn't really been that impactful. It's all been Romeo, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, so let me get. Go ahead, Q.
No, I was just gonna say I don't have a lot. So I'm gonna let you guys go. But the one sneaky bit of optimism was after the game in the Fox post game when they showed teams in the hunt. I saw that Honolulu Blue Lions.
Yeah.
So
it haven't
happened, but I'm gonna ride that wave for the rest of the season.
What's happened to the Vikings today? Does anybody know where they're at?
I think the Vikings won, right?
I thought they won.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they kicked the field goal in overtime.
Okay. So they're still one up on us, but we're going to finish that off at the end of the season, right? Celebration Sunday.
Hopefully,
Go with
hopefully
me.
we run the table, man.
Yeah, that's right. Let's get that Kool-Aid. Celebration Sunday. All right, man. Hey, be good.
But
Thanks.
I'll let you guys go. I'll call in next week. Go Lions.
All right, man. We'll talk to you. Thanks a lot.
Q.
All right, Joe.
He's my freaking hero, that guy. Dan Halsey. Stafford to Dallas for draft picks and we bundle for a quarterback and maybe a good wide receiver in 21. I'll hang up and listen for your answer. You guys rock.
I'm having a harder time believing that Stafford is going anywhere the further we get into this process. After hearing a bunch of NFL people talk about how they feel about Stafford, I think if we were to have lost this game and we lost out and we had a top 3, top 4 pick, I think that's when you can maybe make the argument that if your new GM has a draft pick in mind at quarterback that he likes enough, then you can move on from Stafford. If you're picking in 10 to 12, you literally can't get rid of Stafford. Getting rid of Stafford would possibly be one of the biggest mistakes, regardless of what you get for him. Even if you get a first round pick for him, it would probably be a mistake because we see it year in, year out. Teams without quarterbacks can't win. And getting a quarterback at number 10 is very hard. Getting a quarterback in the top 3 is very hard. And this it's just not it's not a science. It's definitely not something that we can guarantee that we'll get somebody to replace him.
Yeah. And this is something that I think people aren't used to. So many people don't remember the days before Matthew Stafford, the Harrington years and all that stuff, right? How bad it actually was before we had a quarterback. And you see that all the time with different teams without a quarterback. And it's the same thing, I think, with the kicking game. You look at Prater's like, everyone's like, oh my God, he's having a terrible year. He's still above average for the league, guys. Can you imagine signing an average kicker? How frustrated you would be right now. Matt Prater's still the guy. And
well, you remember 2014?
Yeah, Nate Freeze.
Freeze
tag
killed us. We win a playoff game that year, in my opinion, if Hansen didn't retire.
Yeah.
I honestly feel that way.
Yeah, no, I do not disagree with you at all on that. That was, and that's the thing. I mean, it's the two things that I think in the Lions we've really been lucky with is our quarterback for so long and kicking for so long. Green Bay, they have no idea what's going to hit them when Aaron Rodgers leaves. Right? They feel like they can be. They should never ever be critical of Aaron Rodgers. I don't care what happens. You give him the golden treatment until he retires, and then see if you can buy him back. With Matthew Stafford, this is going to be a tough one. This is really tough. I think if you saw my tweet, you know it's true. I think Kelly Stafford has a big say in what happens with Matthew going forward. Let's face it, they've got the money now. He's played. He's at a point now where he can decide if he's, when I saw him on the sideline after that pick, I would have, when I first looked at him and saw his face, I would have said, this is a guy that doesn't want to come back. This guy's done. He's going to go have an easy life now. No more hits, no more pain, no more of these tough workouts and training camps. He's done, right? He's going to retire, maybe go media, maybe do none of that and just kind of retire quietly and have a good life. She definitely has a say in it. He goes on a ladder hanging Christmas bulbs. You know what I mean? We're labor. We're not design. Mm-hmm. We'll see what happens. It's hard because he's 32 and he's at this weird spot, right? So, okay, let's build a team. If we build a team and we're successful, let's just say we get a great coach, a great GM, and we hit. How long is he going to play? And then you're a team without a quarterback again. That's the one side of it, right? But this other side of it is he's only 32. You could probably get four more years out of him, 5 more years out of him if he wants.
I mean, the Saints started a rebuild with Drew Brees older than Stafford right now.
Yeah. So this is really tricky. So you have a couple of variables, and we're going to dive into this a lot in the offseason. I think we'll talk about this more in depth. But you've got a couple of variables in the Staffords themselves. What do they want to do? Who are you getting as a coach and GM? Stafford has to believe in him, right? And this is what's really funny. Who was it? I just saw Deshaun Watson said that he would support Bieniemy as a coach. This is relatively new phenomenon where players are saying have a say in who the coach is going to be, right? Or where their opinion even matters. I mean, when I was growing up, like when the first player I remember in the Lions that got me hooked was Billy Sims, right? Billy never had a say in any coach. No one on the team had any say in who the coach was or the front office or anything, right? They just played and they did what they were told. It's a different world right now. So this is interesting as to how this plays out. And I'm certain that Sheila will consult with Matthew on this process. I am certain that he will be involved in one way or another, probably in on the interviews. This is going to be an interesting ball of wax. And then how this turns out on the other side, what level of control Matthew Stafford has. I don't know if he wants to call plays or not, right? But he's going to be in a position now of a great deal of power if he decides to stay, and he'll have a whole lot of choice in what happens in front of him, I believe, especially after what he just had.
I mean, what you said is basically the way the NFL is going, right? Like players are having more input, and the reason for that is because that's just kind of where the NFL is going. They know the players are very valuable, and that your players have to be happy and they want to have, they have to want to be around in order to play well. And we saw what happens when you bring in a coach that just rubs every single person around them the wrong way. And, that's what just happened with Patricia.
Yep.
We saw it doesn't work like that anymore.
Yep. And I'm seeing, there's some good stuff in the chat here. Dan, the whole winning thing, quarterback wins is not a real statistic. So, I mean, quarterback losses are, for sure, right? Quarterbacks can certainly lose you a game, but like Mitchell Trubisky, he hasn't really won the Bears any games other than when he played against the Lions, right? It was always he didn't lose the games for him, right? And that was good enough. I mean, almost 1 year it was good enough. Let's look at. Let's see. There was one other one here. Oh, I hope Stafford doesn't have a say in anything with the coach. Golden. I'm not. I wouldn't argue with you because he stood up for Jim Bob Cooter, right? And that's like, gosh, I don't know about that. But with what's happened with Patricia and the relationship he had with Bevel, and Bevel keeping him and Patricia from murdering each other, as we've heard, or from, something just short of that, I guess. People learn. And again, I'm going to use an extreme example. Bill Belichick got, just run out of Cleveland. He had no success really there. And then went on to be the guy that everybody knows, right? Period. People can do bad and learn from that and be better. I trust Matthew Stafford as a quarterback. He will be involved in the coaching decision. I don't know if he'll have a final say, but he will definitely have to put his stamp on it. See that? See what I did there? All right. You can hit us up on the phone, 248-782-8384, 248-782-8384. Get a call or use Detroit Lions podcast, all one word. Also, don't forget we got $200 match sitting on the table, stjude.org/DLP. Head on over there, do a donation for the kids. Christmas for the kids here. Through December 18th, we're running this. The goal's $25,000. We're at $17,500 right now. And we can turn that at 18 if we get the $200, folks. So let's go. All right. What do you think? Okay, so from Tracy, let's talk about Tracy Walker a little bit. This is a guy that's he didn't show any improvement today, nor did Will Harris. What happened to Tracy Walker? Did Patricia break him, or did he just was he a one and done year kind of a guy?
I don't. It's definitely funky. I definitely feel like he doesn't fit what they're trying to do this year on defense, and it's hard to say. When he's been out there, he hasn't looked particularly good. Jeff Risdon has definitely been on the train of he wished that Walker had done well. He hoped for Walker to do better, but just this year hasn't been it. I think there's a little bit of hope that Walker can rebound into a more normal defensive scheme than what we're currently running, but I don't know if I would count on that. I think, when you start a game with three safety sets and Walker's not one of the three safeties, I think that's just ultimately telling, because no matter who you are, if you have talent and you fit a scheme, you're going to see the field in a three safety set. It just seems real wild to me that they're finding ways to not have him on the field. And when he is on the field, he'll get his tackles, but he missed a couple tackles today. He took bad angles today. I don't know what happened. It's one of those, football things. Mm-hmm. Guys will look great one year and then the next year,
yeah,
bad.
The play calling today was interesting. I liked that we used tempo at times. That was interesting. And I'm just like shifting without a clutch here. Sorry.
Shove it into second.
Yeah. The play action, tons of play action today. I was pretty impressed. Motion third quarter. What do we do? Well, this is out of the Slack. I'm stealing this from Wisco, but Bevel realized he had tight ends on the roster, and all of a sudden, boom, 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 down the field we moved. Right. Mm-hmm. I was also impressed with Bevel's ability to coach and call plays today, because that's a lot to add on that whole extra set of duties as head coach. And yet still do the play calls for a guy who hasn't done that before. So Good stuff. I liked most of the play calling. There was a couple times it was questionable, but for first-time head coach and play caller at the same time, Bevel did it, man. He came through.
Yeah, and I think the thing that people probably won't talk enough about, because it's hard to talk about, is the game plan. Bevel came in and his offense worked. They didn't get that fourth down where Agnew just decided to stop running in hopes that the guy would run past him. But the offense consistently looked good today. The game plan was good. They threw the ball more than they've thrown it all year, it felt like. They ran the ball, well enough. They had a good pace of offense where it never felt stagnant. It never felt slow. And I don't know how much he had to say in defensive game planning, because I think that's harder to do when that's not what you've been doing all year. But I think for a first time out, beating a team that Patricia has never beat, and beating a team that really should beat the Lions most of the time, just based on the fact that their defense is good. And, their offense always performs well against the Lions, and they did today again. But, when you squeak out the ones you can squeak out, and I think he did enough today to do that. And that's incredibly hard to do, so we have to give him tons of props for that.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And it's not going to get easier, right? I mean, next week is going to be tough. Tennessee is going to be tough. Tennessee, last I saw, was having a tough time today.
Yeah. Oh man, the Browns blew them up.
Yeah, that's great. Now the Browns, well, they got a record this year that's pretty freaking stunning, actually, for the Browns. But congratulations on that one, Risden. Hopefully that they carry that.
Yeah.
But I think Tennessee is going to be a lot more ready for Detroit than they were for Cleveland. That was a surprise. But every team has a bad game every year. You know what I mean? They miss one. So I guess that's probably Tennessee's, and we didn't get it, so that's that, right? Hopefully we get it with Green Bay though. In the playoff hunt in December, that's crazy, and just it's after we fired our coach. It's just
the same record as the 5-1 Bears. Started the year 5-1.
And so let's talk about that in a second. What do you think the Bears? Do you think that was it for Nagy?
I don't know how it's not. I don't know. I don't know how you keep your coach that hasn't necessarily won anything. I don't think he's been bad per se, but when you lose 6 in a row, man, that's tough. That's tough. They really need to rally at the end of this year. They need to, win more than they lose from this point out. And I think Nagy is a good head coach, but I think he's not the guy that the Bears need right now, because he doesn't do a good enough job of wrangling in his offense. He doesn't do a good enough job of wrangling in his defense. I think he's kind of in a Caldwell situation where, he's good at the main job, but it's the small stuff that's starting to unravel around him.
Yeah. Yeah. He really needs a quarterback for his stuff to work. And to hear on the broadcast that during the interview that, what did they say? They tried to teach him and manipulate him, Trubisky, into learning. But when that door opens, he's going to be fun to watch. It's like, dude, that door's closed. It's locked. It's chained. You need to move on, right? It's done. Yeah. Mr. Trubisky is not a start. He happens to be a starting NFL quarterback, but he shouldn't be. He would make. I don't even know if he'd make a good backup, to be honest with you, because I'm not sure he's an X's and O's guy. Right, I'm not sure he can play that role of backup quarterback.
He's too different than anybody else to be a true backup quarterback.
Yep.
I think you'd have to almost have like a sub playbook for Mitchell Trubisky on the off chance your quarterback got injured.
Yeah. Almost run like a wildcat. Right?
Basically, that's what they do run.
Yeah.
Like his first couple of years, he'd run around with the ball here because he's ready to run at any moment. And
AJ makes a good point in the chat. Nagy was supposed to be an offensive guy, but they're as bad as we are on D, right? I mean, they got Patricia on offense. That's terrible. But Trubisky is what everything revolves around there. If they had a quarterback, and so I know Brandon, I'm sorry, you're joking about the Bears needing Stafford, but if they had Stafford, they'd be unstoppable. They would be an incredible team. So who knows? We'll see. I hate to add another team to the coach search this offseason. You know what I mean? Because if you're stepping in, look, you're going to step into two teams. You can step into the Bears, who need a quarterback, or the Lions, who have a quarterback, right? But nothing else. I'm kind of feeling like I might want to go to the Bears, just if I had those two teams, right? Because they've got a pretty well-built team around there. They just need a couple of pieces and a good kind of scheme up front on the offense. I feel like you could really find success there. And we'll talk about that again as we get towards the off season here and towards Senior Bowl and all that. There's a lot to look at there about in these different coaching jobs, and we're going to start ranking, where these teams lie as far as desirability. And we'll talk about things like taxes in the different states and all those other kinds of things those are tangibles, but I'll call them intangibles in relation to football that might inspire someone to go somewhere somewhere other than somewhere else and make the better team, kind of rank list or something. I said that like shit. Sorry. Those were words that just didn't come out together. But that's going to be interesting. And again, we can go back and kind of look at the Wayne Fonts thing. We have Darrell Bevel. I don't know what's going to happen the rest of this year, right? We're kind of drinking the Kool-Aid here on Celebration Sunday. But if he wins this job, is it him that wins back the locker room? He does the job for 2 years, and then then we hire the real guy. Is that what we're doing? Remember, like Jim Schwartz, right? Was a guy. He was the right guy to get us from take over after 0-16. He changed that attitude and got this team to a playoff game, right? I mean, holy cow. But you long for the days of the abrasive personality of Jim Schwartz. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The abrasive towards the other team, but not towards his own team. I think that's where Patricia got it wrong.
Yeah.
You can't be abrasive towards your own guys.
The abrasion's supposed to be on the outside, not the inside.
Yeah.
All right, we'll hit the phone number one more time here, 248-782-8384, 248-782-8384 on a celebration Sunday. And while you're celebrating, you got the holidays coming, right? See what I'm doing here? I'm sneaking in.
Are you sneaking up?
Head on over to amazon.detroitlionspodcast.com. Buy all your Amazon holiday goods, amazon.detroitlionspodcast.com. I love the backgrounds. You're the best, Sam, man. They give us a kickback. You take a little bit of that money away from Bezos. He's got enough. Share it with your podcast. Help support the show. Amazon.detroitlionspodcast.com. Buy everything you ever buy and have shipped from there using that link. Amazon.detroitlionspodcast.com. Thank you, everybody. All right. Let's go. Let's see. I missed a call. Dang it. Because I was talking about Amazon.detroitlionspodcast.com. All right. Let's talk about Corey Unlin a little bit and the defensive play calling, because he definitely brought something different. And we played 4-2 on the defense, if you saw, right?
Yeah, we did.
And it was pretty successful. It worked out.
Yeah, we saw some wrinkles. So at the beginning of the game, like I said earlier, the team seemed to have gotten better the longer the game went on, which is an oddity. But we started to see a little bit more wrinkles, almost like Unlin kind of realized, or maybe Bevel went over to him and said, like, listen, like, who knows what's going to happen to us at the end of the year? Like, pull out all the stops. Like, let's just do what you want to do. You're the defensive coordinator. We want to see some more action. And we did. We saw a ton of stunts. We probably saw more stunts today than we saw in any other game this year. We had, not that they were super successful, but we saw them. They happened. We saw some more blitzes, which is good. We didn't, we had like a rise in blitzes, and then when it came back down for us, but, it looked good today. Overall, I think the game plan was pretty good considering who we have on defense and, what we can do. They're still doing some things that are a little wonky, but I don't really expect a whole lot to change a week after the head coach is fired, who is the guy that was the mastermind behind the defense. 10-yard off play by our cornerbacks, safeties way too deep. But, what I saw was excitement. And we talked about that a little bit with just the team in general, but the players just looked to be a little bit more excited. They looked, a little bit slow at the beginning of the game, but then the speed started to come around. They started to hit the holes the way they were supposed to hit the holes. And, I guess we'll see. I don't know how much input Unlin had in the actual development of this defense. So this may be a Jim Bob Cooter versus Lombardi situation where Jim Bob basically runs the same offense, just, calls the plays differently. Does minute things
plays differently, by different names.
Yeah, but
there's
we'll
so
see.
little of a change between Lombardi and Cooter. You know what I mean? I mean, as far as it's literally. I keep using this meme, the Office meme, with Pam sitting there. Tell us this corporate wants to know the difference between these two pictures. They're the same damn picture.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, I hated that. Matthew Stafford said when he took the field for the knee to end the game, he patted down Bilal Nichols' arms, looking for a foreign substance like pine tar or something after Nichols picked him off late. Not bad. That's pretty funny stuff.
that pick was amazing. Yeah, we can hate on Stafford all we want. That was an awful pick.
Yep.
That's probably a throw that you shouldn't make, but like 99 out of 100 times that ball's hitting the dirt, even if it's a bad throw, because that was a one-handed catch by a D lineman who was kind of turned sideways, had no business catching that thing.
He's going to pull the Agnew next year for the Bears. He's going to be in the slot. You watch.
More fat guy touchdowns.
He's going to be hard to tackle. I'll tell you that. Oh man, no, that was good. That was good. Oh God, yes, Jim Young, thank you. And Jim, I hope you're in a better place now than you were before the game. It was nice to win after that Fox pregame show roasted the Lions. That didn't bother me as much. I just thought it was really poorly done. Did you see that?
Oh yeah,
Sam?
awful.
It was not funny. I mean, there's so much material to work with, right? There are so many things you could do that would be funny to kind of rip on the Lions situation or whatever. They did a terrible job. That was, I don't know who wrote that, but they
calling for Jason Garrett to be our head coach and just what are you doing? Come on, Fox, be better.
Yes,
that was wild.
Please.
It's like they didn't vet Jimmy Johnson what he was going to say before the game. They just let him fucking willy-nilly do whatever.
And I am 100% certain that our guy Bradshaw's got some issues upstairs going on. I don't know, man. He's a mess. He's a mess. God. Let's see. Yeah, it was good. It was good to win after that. What are they going to say next week? Right? Are they going to swing the other way and say Darrell Bevel for head coach? He's going to be the number one candidate in the NFL this season.
I think they have to bring up how good the team looked under Darrell Bevel. I honestly feel like nobody gave the Lions a chance to win any games again. And, and I was part of the, if they don't win another game, I'm not going to be shocked by it crowd just because. But I mean, it was kind of shocking. And the Lions came back from 10 down, which is a rarity. Came back in good fashion. That last drive by the offense to score and get the Bears the ball back with 2:13 left. That's perfectly executed football, perfect clock management when it comes to trying to score before the 2-minute warning to give yourself as much time on defense to make a play. I mean, it looked like, I really didn't see too many new coach or, bruises from Bevel.
Yeah.
There really weren't any big, oops, or anything that was obvious that this is his first time doing it. He looked comfortable in the role.
Yeah. Now afterwards, right, he's speechless. He doesn't know what to say. He's super excited, right? I mean, you can bet there was tons of, how strong is Kevin Strong? He's speechless. There's probably tons of emotions and everything else going on because he got it done. But under fire in the moment, he was solid. He was absolutely solid. And so this is gonna be a really weird connection. So just work with me here, okay? Play Call of Duty's out, right? I play my Call of Duty. I love my Call of Duty. And Search and Destroy is my favorite. You got to plant the bomb and all this other stuff. But it was last night we were down. My team, everyone died except me, and the whole other team was alive, 6-on-1. And it's on a timer. There's all kinds of different pressure. And it was one of those things where you found yourself in a zone. I wasn't, you're nervous. You didn't feel anything. You're just like, I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to do this. And you just execute, right? And you get it done. And then when it's all done and over, it's like, then the rush happens, right? And I know it's a silly example, right? It's just a video game, but me and my buddy played. We play probably more seriously than we should on Search, and that was more competitively than we probably should, especially at our ages. But it's that kind of thing where you're in the moment and you're not letting all those things. My best golf game was the same way. I did 2 over par once in my life, and I've been significantly worse than that every other game I played. But that day, everything just came together, and I was quiet. I just walked in, I did my thing, I knew what I had to do, and I did it, and it worked. Right? I strung it together, and it was like afterwards, I felt it building at the end, right? And I was just like, let it go, just come on, let it go, and you get that sense of just absolute release when it's done. And I think that's where Bevel was. It really looked like that's how he was executing today. He was in that zone. He didn't seem to have a whole lot of emotion on the sidelines. He wasn't doing that, whoop it up cheerleading thing, but he executed and he got the win. And you can see that release now in his quotes and how he's talking. It's pretty good stuff. So good for Bevel. I mean, that's such a feel good story, a guy, especially if you think, everything you've heard about working under Patricia, right? He's endured almost 2 years of it, right? And they're there all hours every day. He spent so much time in that situation, and to be able to walk out and do what he did, that was great. All right. Oh, let's see. Oh, look at Desai. What a nice fella. He's so bad at trolling. It's just an embarrassment. But this is what you get from Chicago. Or if you're not murdered, you embarrass yourself. All right, let's move on. Let's see. What else did we have? We had Bevel. What else did we have going on? Oh, thank you, Loretto. Thank you. That's a point I wanted to make. It's going to pop up here. I'm just going to start talking about it. Adjustments at the half. Is it legal to do that? I didn't think you were allowed to do that. Like come out of a half and change the way your strategy and how you played the game. What happened there? How did that work? We lost your mic, my friend.
How about now?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Okay.
Must have been a Chicago mic.
I feel like halftime adjustments almost weren't super necessary this game. But what we saw was they didn't take their foot off the gas pedal. They didn't attempt to, when they got it close, they didn't slow down to try to manage the game. We did see the defense start to blitz, start to make some more movement on the front. We started seeing more 4-2. We saw kind of a player adjustment as well. We started to see a little bit more Jared Davis in the second half, a little bit more Ragland playing closer to the line of scrimmage. So yeah, I think we did see adjustments that normally we didn't see. I guess don't isn't a thing anymore. He's gone. Yeah,
past tense. It's
was
okay
nice.
to use past tense.
Yeah,
I know he touched you in your fandom, but it's okay.
He did. He touched me real bad.
We're gonna move a little psychological thing here. We're gonna move on and use the past tense now.
It's so nice. It's so nice. Yeah, I think this game, and I tweeted about it during the game. Everything just felt a little bit different. This felt more like we were watching a regular football game. So I can watch like Philadelphia, Green Bay. I have no skin in the game other than wanting Green Bay to lose, but whether they win or don't doesn't really impact me too much. And it kind of, when we were under Patricia, I would watch these games and I would just be horrified at what I was seeing. It just felt bad. I had a pit in my stomach the whole time, like not just because we were losing, but just because I could tell that we were in a dead end and with no way out. And it just felt like that. And this game is the first game in 3 years, that I've honestly felt good the whole game. We were down by 10, but that didn't dissuade me from my thoughts that this game could still be won. I felt more even keel. And I part of me wonders if the players felt the same way. And I imagine that they had to feel something because all this stuff's slowly starting to trickle out about how not so great the Matt Patricia locker room was. And that impacts players. You feel good, play good. And that's the truth.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. And I'm going to add on, kind of piggyback to what you said. I was like, oh, I know the Lions. They're going to pull this out in the end. This one. But even then, I was still watching because this is one of the most fun Lions games to watch in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
In a long time. It was just fun football to watch. And I don't know, it's not touched me in my fandom, but really football, it was hard to watch. It wasn't fun. I don't know. Yeah, it was. I don't know. Oh God! So this was good. This was cathartic. And I'm glad we got a win out of the end of it. But throughout the game, it was fun. There were still mistakes. There's still things to complain about, things along the way. But that's part of what made it fun, right?
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't just the big dumb guy on the sideline with his 7-layer dip.
And his damn running hill. I hope the new coach just just pushes that crap right out onto the street right now in Park. Knock the fence over.
I think if they provided shovels, the players themselves would remove that hill.
It's the best cardio I ever got.
Yeah.
Everybody comes in, shoulders looking like... And
then in the end, they're going to say, thanks, Matt Patricia, for the great workout. The hill actually worked.
I've got some divots in my lawn. I wonder if Alan Park will just let me come by, grab some dirt.
Yeah, there's a bunch of sod up there, and it's well maintained. It's very well maintained.
Very well. It's got some 7-layer dip on the down slope, but
that's for
put
sledding.
that piece upside down.
You can sled in the summertime. Oh man! All right, tell you what, we had a good show. We had a good day. Let's go celebrate on our own.
Winning Sunday.
Winning Victory Sunday. Gotta love it. You know what? Great point. Now, let me hit one more thing. How awesome was it to watch us do something on fourth down that wasn't involving putting the ball in your foot?
It was awesome, actually. I called for the fourth down, go for it. And, they did it twice this game. And I think the game of football is so tight anyway that those little decisions can win or lose you a football game.
Yep.
And we see that often. And I think going for it and then scoring a touchdown subsequently won us this game. Same thing with going for the block on their extra point and actually blocking it. That made it a 4-point game where the Bears couldn't just get it down to our end, which they did, and kick a field goal and force overtime. So small things that just add up. And I think coaches like Bevel get it, and other coaches don't. Like when Doug Peterson came in and was super aggressive all the time,
yep.
That was a revelation in the NFL that he was that aggressive. And he won his team a bunch of games like that, took him to a Super Bowl.
Yep.
I think that, change like that is impactful. I think that the team as a whole responds to stuff like that when you trust your guys to get the fourth down, that, field goals aren't going to get it done. We want touchdowns here, and I know you guys can do it. I think that gets everybody pumped up on a new level, and it's important. And it's fun to see our coach doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. Two things. One came in. Stafford's average intended air yards for 2020, 8.8. This is what you talked about earlier on the show. Mm-hmm. Average intended air yards today versus the Bears, 12.9.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And people will look at that and think, oh, it's 4 yards. That's humongous.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Oh, yeah. It's gigantic. That's big time stuff right
there. This is a whole new offense. It's the same offense, but it's new.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's like a brick has been taken off the back of out of the back of their pants. I didn't know what to do with the brick once I put it out there, so I just shoved it in their pants. I'll tell you something though on the game that was a little bit the Lions could have really gotten beat on, and the Bears missed it. That fourth down where they came out like they're going to snap and then they ran off the field, the Lions froze. Right? They're like, they had no idea what to do. Had the Bears then fake punted, the Lions would have they would have destroyed them. That would have been absolutely a first down for the Bears. But I think maybe they wanted to, but the ref stood on the ball until there was like 4 seconds left on the play clock and didn't let them get the ball off. And but that was interesting. I think maybe they wanted to do the fake there, and the Lions were just not ready. They were stunned. They ran off the field. They just literally froze. They're like, what do we do? They literally didn't know what to do. And then guys started coming on the field. They're like, and it was like, I was like, oh my God, they're going to get us offside. They're going to snap that ball. They're going to have too many men offside, whatever. And they're going to get the first down that way, which they could have done. So that was one that we escaped with for sure, because they definitely could have nailed us a couple different directions in that one. Oof. All right, so let's see. Now I think we're in good shape, buddy. It's time. Don't forget about the Patreon.DetroitLionsPodcast.com. Don't forget about Amazon.DetroitLionsPodcast.com. Fanatics, that's the one we did do. .DetroitLionsPodcast.com for all your sports, jerseys, everything else. Fanatics.DetroitLionsPodcast.com. Okay, with that, Sam, thank you. I am thankful for you. I love doing this with you, man. The best part about the COVID is you not having season tickets and being able to do this with me every week. I look forward to it. I look forward to it every week. I do. All right, remember the show needs your involvement. Use the comments in the subreddit to give us your feedback. Don't forget about us on Patreon, patreon.com/Detroit Lions Podcast. And, of course, on the facebook.com/The Detroit Lions Podcast. Make sure to follow us on Twitter. Then you get to see the picture with Matthew Stafford and on the ladder hanging ornaments on the tree at his wife's request. Remember, us men are labor, not design. I think you're is for that line. Oh. Pie face. Let's see. Call us on Skype. Detroit Lions Podcast. Oh, I didn't say Twitter at DET Lions Podcast. DET Lions Podcast, the very best place to see Andy
with no pants on.
Oh, dang right this week. Give us a call, Skype, Detroit Lions Podcast, or call us on the Lions line, 929-33-LIONS, 929-335-4667. Leave a message, we'll put you on the air. And be sure to go to DetroitLionsPodcast.com. Subscribe to the podcast so we can show up in your face automatically. Thank you for tuning in. We're going to see you next time on the Detroit Lions Podcast. Remember, no pants, no toasters, no hot tubs, no problems. No coach either. Because we're your Detroit Lions and Reddit Connection.